Now we are going to learn the next part of rotational motion, and that is rolling of a body. Now this is again a new term, of course not a new term, rolling, so you have been knowing what rolling is, but see, so many terms are used. You have revolution, you have rotation, you have circular motion, and now this is rolling. But you know what is rolling of a circular body? It is only a circular body that can roll. A square shaped body can rotate around an axis, but it cannot roll. Every word has its own importance in physics, so try to understand that. Rolling is something that I am just showing you what rolling means. This is a flat surface, okay, and I am having a circular object. Now if I give it some velocity, see, it has started to roll. If I give it a velocity, it will start rotating. So this rotation, after giving it a jerk, after I have given it a jerk, am I applying a force to it? No. Am I applying a force to it? No. So what is happening? Once I give it a jerk, it is moving with a constant velocity. Once I give it a jerk, I am giving a jerk, it is moving with a constant velocity. This process is called as rolling of the body. Now in rolling of the body, there are again two situations. One, this rolling is done with a constant velocity because there is no force accompanying it. So it is not accelerating. It is going with a constant velocity. Okay. But the moment I give this an inclination, what is going to happen? It is going to get a force is going to be applied which is equal to mg sin theta. So that is going to bring this particular object into acceleration. It is gaining speed. It is gaining speed. So in rolling also there are two kind of motions. One in which it moves with a constant velocity, like we have always done in linear motion, that a body, whenever I give it a jerk, it will start moving with a constant velocity, or if I am accompanying with a force, then it is going to move with acceleration. These are the two important things we have always seen, that a body moves with a constant velocity if it is given an instantaneous velocity, and if there is no air resistance. If there is no air resistance, it is going to go smoothly with a constant velocity. I have already told you many times while teaching linear motion. Now here also in rotational motion, when a body is rolling, as you saw that experiment which I showed you, when it was horizontal and I gave it a jerk, it started moving with a constant velocity, and when it was at an angle, it started gaining more velocity because acceleration was accompanying it, and because there was a gravitational force which was accelerating that rolling body, and therefore it was going into a what we say is a what we call accelerated rolling motion, where when finally when it was falling down, it had gained a higher velocity than what it was initially. In such a case, when it is in an inclined plane, I need not give it any jerk because the acceleration will bring the body from rest to some final velocity. But in the horizontal body, it needs to be given a jerk initially, that means a starting velocity. After that, it will keep maintaining the velocity. Now just another example, once again I will just show you. Look at this difference between a linear motion and the circular motion. Now here in the same part, now when this body is say stationary, now when I give this a constant velocity, see, it is moving with a constant velocity, with a small jerk it has come over here. But if I talk about a linear body, a linear motion, that means this is not a rolling motion, this is a sliding motion. In the sliding motion, if there is some object, right, and if I give it a jerk, see, it will just go here and stop because of the frictional force. For the same jerk, in fact I am giving a more higher jerk to it, but still it is going here and stopping. But in the roller part, it went completely up to here and it would have gone more further ahead, right? Both the cases I had given the same jerk, but the rolling body moves more further ahead than the duster which you saw. Because of the friction of the scale and the duster, after some particular distance it stopped. Now what is the difference between both of them? Why in that case? That was also almost the same mass of that of the duster, but while rolling it could go for a higher or constant velocity without friction, even it was going through the same material. Both the materials were the same, but still in that case it could travel a larger distance. In the other case it could travel only a small distance where the mass is the same. Maybe I will demonstrate again with the same material, that if I am having this same material and if I am rolling, if I am giving this a jerk, it is traveling a larger distance, small jerk. Now the same body, the same mass, the same material, I am giving it a jerk, it is just traveled from here to here and then it has stopped, right? So this is the difference between the linear motion and a rotational motion, and which is that rotational motion, that is a rolling motion. So the rolling motion have got something that we have to study, which is not just a simple rotational motion, right? So you have to pay proper attention to this rolling motion. From the physics point of view, it gives us a different dimensions, a different explanation why these two situations took place. Okay. Now in the linear motion, you saw that when I gave it a push, when it was not in the rolling mode, it was in the sliding mode. It was overcoming, it was sliding. Sliding means it had overcome the frictional force and it has moved further. But in the rolling motion, there was no sliding that has taken place. In fact, it was within the frictional force of that particular scale. Difficult to understand. When this body was rolling, it was not sliding. See, this is sliding. When it is not rotating, it is sliding. But you see the rolling motion, when it is rolling, as you can see, it is not sliding on this. Because of the frictional force, it is able to travel further ahead. Now it is able to travel because of friction. It is rolling. So for rolling, if there was no friction over here, so this would have rotated only at this position and it would not have gone ahead. If I had rotated this rotating body, if I keep it over here, then it would not have gone further ahead, it would keep on skidding at the same place. But because of the friction of this and the scale, it has started to roll. So for rolling, friction is necessary. So we cannot say that in rolling it can go to a larger distance because there is no friction. In fact, because of friction, the rolling action takes place. If the friction is not there, it will keep on, it will not roll. See, now suppose if I hold it tight and I give the same value, see, now it is not rolling. Now what I am doing, it is sliding. Now slightly if I keep it free, so that the friction takes overcomes that, now you will see the rolling taking place. So for rolling, this friction between this rim of this wheel and this particular surface is very important, without which rolling cannot take place. What will happen will be only sliding. Okay. If I keep this on an ice plate and if I give it a push, it is going to slide. It will not roll. So the rolling has its own importance and a different study. That is what we are going to understand now. So what is so different about rolling? Understand one thing, that suppose if we have a plane surface. What are we having? A plane surface. Now in this plane surface, let us have a wheel, okay, and this is the axis of this wheel. Got it? Now this wheel is going to roll, not going to slide. Roll means exactly what we had seen. After rolling, what will happen? This particular point would be over here and this wheel would be, I would have achieved this particular position. Okay, but after further rolling, probably this would have come towards this point and it would achieve this particular position. Now if I try to have points on the rim of this. So this is point A, this is suppose point A, this is B, this is C, and this is D. After rolling this, what would happen? This D would come over here, this A would come over, sorry, this A would be over here, B would be over here, and C would over here. In this particular position, C has come over here, D has come over here, A is over here, and B is over here. So this is how the points are going to move as the body is rolling from one point to the another point. Okay. Now if I have on the surface, suppose point A. Now you will see A and A, when this is slightly, I am just slightly rotating it, what will happen? Around this point A, suppose if I assume that this is one small stick, this is one small stick. So on this surface, what is this stick doing? When I am rotating, it is moving in this particular way. No, this is the rotational part of this. A small movement or a small, what you call force, if I apply over here, what is going to happen? This whole, this particular, you can imagine this some like a solid stick within that disc. So that is going to, is it not rotating around this particular contact point? When I rotate this point is actually rotating. We always have an assumption that this is rotating around point O. When a body is moving in a rolling motion, we always have a kind of an explanation that the axis of rotation is O, that it is rotating around this. But that is not the case. Axis of rotation is not O, but the axis of rotation is A. Fine. When I have this rolling body on the surface and when I am rotating, you will see here, this is the axis at the point contact on which this rotation is taking place. Can you see this? The rotation, the point of axis, for that small instant you take, don't take the full rotation, just one small angle when I am rotating, you will understand this rotation is taking place this way, right? So you can see my thumb, that is the axis of rotation. My thumb is the axis of rotation and not this part. Can you see this? My thumb is the axis of rotation, that means this point is the axis of rotation and the whole wheel is rotating around this particular point. It is rotating around this particular point. Now when it reaches over here, this D is now the axis of rotation, not A. In between this, there are so many different axes of rotation. All these points had become axis of rotation as it had come from here to here. These were the past axis of rotation. This is the current axis of rotation. Correct? So from here to here, when it has moved from here to here, let us say this part of the surface was, let us say this was A dash. So this point will be, say, D dash. So when this D meets this D dash, when this D meets this D dash, right, the D on the rim of the wheel has now become the new axis of rotation. And from this position to this position, all these points were the axis of rotation as the wheel was rolling. So are you trying to understand what we am trying to define? This is the physics point of view, which says that when a body is rolling, this is not the axis of rotation, it is this on which the rolling body is revolving. It is around point A, around point D, around point C that the wheel is rotating. Now because the axis is changing all the time, these axes of rotation are called as instantaneous axis of rotation. What are they called as? This axis are called as instantaneous axis of rotation. So because they are not fixed, no, all these points are what? Instantaneous axis at that particular moment around which that particular wheel is rotating. This is the basic fundamental behind a rolling body. Now this rolling body is moving with a constant velocity because it is on a horizontal plane, right? It is moving on a horizontal plane, and therefore it has gained a constant velocity. Now let us assume the center of mass. This is what? Not the axis of rotation. This is your O is what? The center of mass of this object. This O is the center of mass of this object, which is a geometrically, which is a circle. Now this will be having some velocity v as it is moving from here to here. As you say, you can see the center of mass is having a velocity v. Got it? So this is what velocity? It is the velocity of the center of mass which it is going from this position. The wheel is going from position number A to C. It has gone from position A to C. The center of mass is having this linear velocity. Now you will understand that all the particles of the wheel are even rotating as well as it is even moving in a linear motion. So the particles of this particular rotating body, any particle, let us give this particle as Q. Now this particle, when it rotates over here, which is between C and D, this particle has come over here. This Q has come over here. Pay proper attention to this explanation what I am giving. This is very important concepts when we are doing rotational motion, and the problems for mains and for NEET and for higher mechanics, you should understand these concepts very clearly, because you might be having questions based on these concepts. Now this particular point Q, now let us study this particular point Q. Now when this was rotating from this position to this position, this Q was having a rotational motion. It was having a, suppose a velocity x1. Let us say it was having a velocity x1 because it is in a rotational motion. In a rotational motion, just understand one thing, that in a rotational motion, right, around this axis, suppose this is only rotating around an axis, it is not rolling. So, and if there was a point Q on this, it would have a tangential velocity v at a distance r, right? It would have a tangential velocity v at a distance r, and if it was revolving with omega, so we have the relation velocity here is equal to r omega. So different what you call positions, suppose the total radius is r, and if I want to find the velocity v1 at the rim of this, so I would say v1 is equal to r into omega, because omega would be the same for all the particles that is rotating around the wheel. Okay, omega will be the same, but the linear velocity which this point is having, the linear velocity means when it is rotating, for some moment it is having, for some distance it is having a linear velocity whose direction is changing. But for that small instance, for that small angle theta, we assume that it is having some linear velocity. So that is this linear velocity v. So this linear velocity v is equal to the distance from where it is from the center of rotation, and omega is the angular velocity. Similarly, when you come back to this particular part, this Q, it is having a velocity, let us give this velocity as Vx. Let us give this velocity of Q as Vx. Now because omega, it is moving with an fixed angular velocity, because in a horizontal part, it is not gaining acceleration. So the omega here would be the same as omega here, it would be the same omega over here. If this omega is same, this Vx, that is the velocity of Q, velocity of q, vx, would be given, suppose this distance was r, would be given as r omega. When it comes over here, it will still have a velocity vx. Here also vx would be equal to r omega for this point q, because has the distance changed from here? No, it is still r. Here also, now this q would be suppose over here, this point q would come over here. Now here also it will have, let us say, a linear velocity vx from the distance r, and vx would be equal to r into omega, because the wheel has not accelerated, it was going with a constant angular velocity omega. Okay, so we are just studying the situations of q over here and q over here, because it was rotating, it was having. Now just see one more very typical situation which normally would get missed from our our observation, and that is this velocity when I had given for an object which is just rotating at the same position, it is not rolling. That time v1 is equal to r omega, because this particle is only in a rotational motion. But here this q has traveled, as you can see, from this point to it has come to this point. So it has traveled a distance x. It has traveled a distance x, which means this particular point, while it was rotating, it was also getting shifted, it was also getting a linear velocity, correct? So at every particular position of this q, this has a rotational velocity, vx is the rotational velocity, and it was always having a linear velocity vy also. So this would be given in this direction, suppose vy, and this would be vy. This particle q on that particular rim is undergoing two velocities. One is a tangential velocity because of the rotation, and because it is also moving in a linear way from one point to another, it has got another velocity, that is a linear velocity. Are you getting me? So all the particles will be always in a rolling motion, will be having two velocities. One is a linear velocity, it will have two linear velocities, linear velocity due to rotational motion, and that maybe we will give that as Vx. We will call this as Vx, and similarly it will have a linear velocity, due to a linear displacement. It will also have a linear velocity, correct? So now both the velocities are velocities, and therefore they are vectors, and that particle will always have a resultant velocity. So the V resultant in both the cases, one was, suppose here linear velocity due to rotational motion was Vx, and due to linear motion let us give it as Vy. Then the resultant velocity Vr will be under root of Vx plus square of Vx square plus Vy square. So this would be the resultant velocity of both the considering the rotational and the linear velocity of a particle which is moving in a rotational motion. Got it? So slightly it is complex, but part by part, if you try to understand this concept, is that in this rolling motion there is something which is called as the instantaneous axis, and that axis is the point which is in contact with the surface. It is the point of that wheel which is in contact with the surface, that is called as instantaneous axis of rotation, because we consider this moving, this is rotating this particular manner, no? So this is the axis of rotation. Okay, this is what we had seen, that if we consider this as a stick, solid stick, so while it is revolving, it is touching over here and it is getting revolved, so this becomes the axis of rotation. And every particle on a circular motion will be having two types of velocities. Two types of linear velocities. One, a linear velocity which is tangential to the center of mass. Here center of mass is O, not the instantaneous axis of rotation. I would say it will have a linear velocity which is around the center of mass, and another would be a linear velocity because this wheel has shifted from this position to this position, unlike this wheel which was rotating at the same position. Since it has shifted, this had developed a linear velocity also, which is given suppose as Vy, right? So the vector resultant of this would be Vx plus Vx square plus Vy square if they are perpendicular, or Vx square plus Vy square plus 2 Vx Vy cos theta if you are able to understand the theta between Vx and Vy. So this can be extended to 2 Vx Vy cos theta if Vx and Vy are not perpendicular to each other, if they are at particular angle. So the same vector theory is going to be applied over here. Did you get this particular concept up till here, up till now? Okay. So every particle, as I have said, will develop two linear velocities, and the rotational velocity omega, that is all the particles will be rotating at a velocity, angular velocity omega, and they will have two velocities, linear velocity due to the position, due to the rolling mechanism, that the wheel has shifted from this position to this position. So all the particles are undergoing a linear motion also and a rotational motion also. So as they are rotating, they are also revolving, and because they are rotating, they have generated a tangential linear velocity and one velocity which is taking it from this point towards the other point, that is the linear, another linear velocity, and so the resultant velocity would be the square of Vx square plus Vy square into 2 Vx Vy cos theta. Okay. Now this is a situation of a rolling body with a constant angular velocity omega, which means this body is not under acceleration. If this body was under acceleration, then this omega will keep on changing and you will have alpha. In that particular case, even the center of mass will have an acceleration. This V which I had shown as same over here will always change from V initial to V final. So that situation is going to be entirely different, but the same concepts will be applied in that case. Here the omega is also constant and the center of mass linear velocity is also constant, but the center of mass linear velocity is V. Now this has got only one linear velocity V, because this center point is not rotating because the radius r is 0, right? So the tangential velocity of the center of mass is never there. It has got only one velocity, and that is a linear velocity, that is because this point is shifting from this point to this point, but this will not have the tangential velocities that we for the other particles. The center of mass will not have a tangential velocity because around the center of mass the radius r is 0. So therefore V is equal to r omega will not get applied, and this linear velocity due to rotational motion will not be there for center of mass. It will have only one velocity, and that is only a pure linear velocity, and that is always taken as reference V, and all the other velocities are derived from that velocity V that we will see now in the next subsequent topic. What will be those velocities of the other particles that we are talking about. Okay, so let us once again consider this rolling motion. So you have this body over here. This is your center of mass. We can give this area as the center of mass with the letter O. Now, as we had seen in the last example in the study, that there will be a point on the rim that will be A, and another point on the surface that will be A dash, which are touching each other. Now this A and A dash, there is no sliding taking place. It is a rolling, and this rolling is happening because of friction between both of them. This friction, when it is trying to roll, there is a friction which is acting in which direction? In what direction the friction is acting? The friction is acting in this direction. This is trying to slide this way, but the friction is in this direction. Now, here we have seen the center of mass will gain a velocity v, because this body has rolled and it will go to this particular position. The center of mass will gain a velocity v, and it is moving with an angular velocity omega. It is rolling with an angular velocity omega. And we have understood that A, this point A is the center of axis. So if the radius of this wheel is r, then this v will be given as r omega. This will be the velocity of the center of mass. That will be v will be equal to r omega. If the total mass of this disc is m, if the total mass of this disc is m, now when a disc is rolling with a constant angular velocity omega, when it is rolling with a constant angular velocity omega, so definitely any moving body will have a kinetic energy, because due to the virtue of the velocity. Okay, since the velocities are constant, the kinetic energy will be constant for that amount of time when the velocity is going with a constant velocity. Now let us find the kinetic energy of a rolling body. So here you will see that if this mass m is there, since it is moving, it has got two kinetic energy. One is kinetic energy that is translational, where the body is moving with a, as it is rolling, it is also going in a linear motion. No? This body has got a rolling motion, has got two motions. One is a rotational motion and one is a linear motion. So here the body is going with a linear motion also, and it is going at the same time it is also performing a rotational motion. So it will have two kinetic energies. One is translational energy, that is the translational motion, which will be given as 1/2 mv square. M is the mass of the wheel and v is the velocity of the center of mass. This is the velocity of center of mass of the whole body, because the center of mass is going with the velocity v. So it will have another kinetic energy, that is the rotational kinetic energy, which will be 1/2. Mass will be replaced here by the moment of inertia I and velocity by omega square. See the change, see the difference that we have written down over here. When we are talking about rotational kinetic energy, all the terminologies have changed now. Mass has got converted into I and velocity has converted into omega square. Now here comes the next complication that we have to write down. Now what is the I? Now this is a disc, no? So for a disc, I was equal to how much? What was the moment of inertia for a disc? Which was 1/2 mr square. So this I can substitute over here, that will be equal to 1/2 mr square. Okay, so this will give me 1/4 mr square, and sorry, this will be also multiplied by omega square. This is also multiplied by omega square. This is into, here it would be omega square. Okay. Now, as we know that relation that v is equal to r omega, this is a situation where the body is in a pure rolling, that it is not skidding. If it skids, then it will go into a totally different complications altogether, and it has to be addressed in a very different way. So skidding is not going to be there. When the body is skidding, it means it has overcome the frictional force and it has started to skid at that particular moment. So we are not studying skidding over here. We are only studying pure rolling body, and in the pure rolling body, it has not overcome the frictional force. That is why it is able to roll. The moment it overcomes the frictional force, it will start skidding at that particular point. Correct? Now, V is equal to R omega. That is, we know that. So, therefore, from this equation, we know that omega is equal to V upon R. So, substituting in this equation, I can get this as 1 upon 4. Can you see this as? So, this equation I will just write down over here, that kinetic energy, that is rotational, will be equal to 1 upon 4 m r square, and omega square will be again v square upon r square, right? Because omega is v upon r. So here we will have r square also getting cancelled. This will be 1 upon 4 m v square. And what was the kinetic energy? 1 half m com square. Now this com square and this com square is the same, because this v is nothing but the v of center of mass. So you have the total energy is equal to kinetic energy, that is kinetic energy rotational motion plus kinetic energy, that is translation motion. Okay, so here it is going to be 1 half m v square, of course center of mass, plus 1 upon 4 m v square. Okay, so what do we have? This is going to be 3 by 4 m square. Did you get this? What have we derived over here? So what have we got over here? This is your total kinetic energy of a rolling body, which is a disc. If this, instead of a disc, if it was a ring, then what would be the total kinetic energy? In that particular case, translation energy would be the same, 1 half mv com square, right? But the rotation energy, now I, instead of half, would be only mr square, because the ring, the what you call, the moment of inertia of a ring is mr square. So instead of this half mr square, it is going to be just mr square. So similarly, any body that you give, let it be a circular body, any circular body, it could be a sphere, it could be a shell, it could be a ring, it could be a disc, it could be a cylinder. When it is rolling, right, you can find the total energy using this particular derivation. Fine. So please make a note of this. This is the total energy of a body that is performing a rolling motion. One more important aspect that we have to understand about a rolling body is that, just once again look over here. Let us consider this point A, which lies on the rim of this wheel, and similarly there is a point A dash which lies on the surface on which this body is rolling. Okay. Now this could be the center of mass. Let us give this point as A, and this is diametrically an opposite point D, that is also on the end of the wheel, that is on the rim of this particular wheel, that is point D. As we know, the radius of this is given as R, and considering the instantaneous axis of rotation, A is the instantaneous axis of rotation, correct? So if this is the instantaneous axis of rotation, and if it is and this wheel is rotating around this particular point, which is omega, so around this also it is going to be omega only. from the geometry of the figure you will come to know. So around this point, this wheel around the center of mass, this is also rotating at omega, and around the center of instantaneous axis of rotation, this is also moving with an angular velocity omega. This wheel is also moving with an angular velocity omega. Okay, if this is angular velocity omega, this is going to be v, that is the linear velocity which is tangential to this axis. If this is the axis of rotation, this is the rotational linear velocity, from this point of view, from this axis, this v is the tangential rotation linear velocity, which we know v is equal to r into omega. So this is the velocity of axis. This is the velocity of we can say velocity of center of mass. So the center of mass is the velocity of center of mass. I would say linear velocity of center of mass. Now let us consider this point D. This will also have a linear velocity v, because when this is rotating in this direction, right, this d will also have a linear velocity, suppose say vd. What will be this vdv? So this vd will be equal to this distance into what is the angular velocity around this point A is omega, so that will be equal to 2r into omega. That is the linear velocity of vd at point D. So from here you can see that vd is equal to 2 times the velocity of the center of mass. So the velocity, the linear velocity at this point D, that is vd, is going to be 2 times the velocity of this. Correct? Now the linear velocity of A at this particular point, because the distance is 0, that is VA is going to be 0. So the linear velocity at this point is 0, at the center it is V, and at the diametrically opposite side, that is VD, it is going to be 2V. These are also those important aspects that you have to understand for a rotational motion when a body is performing a rolling motion. It is performing a rolling motion. Rolling motion is a combination of translational as well as rotational motion. Okay. So please make a note of this, because sometimes many a times this is even asked in a form of MCQ questions.